The storm rages, lightning flashing across the sky, cutting through the thick, oppressive darkness. Evelyn stands alone, her heart pounding in her chest as the wind howls like a living thing. Damien, her love, is gone. He's been taken by him. The figure cloaked in shadows, whose power she can't even comprehend, vanishes into the night with her only hope. "No," she whispers, voice trembling, feeling the weight of the world crush her. She stretches out her hand as if she could pull him back, but the storm only grows stronger. Every raindrop that hits her skin feels like betrayal. She knows she has no power now. The magic she once commanded, lost in a single moment of madness. Was it her fault? She doesn't know. All she knows is that the darkness has stolen everything from her. Evelyn's mind races, emotions spiraling. She needs him back. She needs her magic. She needs something, but she doesn't know what. She's afraid of what she's become without him. The wind howls again, louder this time, almost as if mocking her. Is there any hope left, or has everything been destroyed in an instant? The quiet after the storm feels unnatural. Evelyn stands in the ruins of landscape, the echoes of the chaos still ringing in her ears. She feels the sharp sting of the rain on her skin, but she doesn't move. How long has it been since she lost everything? She can't tell. Her heart beats slowly, each thud louder than the last. She swallows hard, her body tense with emotion. It feels as though the storm is still raging inside her, twisting her gut in knots. Damien's absence leaves an ache in her chest, a hollow place where love once thrived. The world around her is silent, save for the occasional crack of thunder. She knows she can't stand here forever, but she can't move. Is this what it feels like to be powerless? A question she never thought she'd have to ask herself. The only answer is the wind whispering through the trees. But there's something more, something deep inside her, a spark. She can still feel it barely, but it's there. Will it be enough? Evelyn stumbles upon a familiar path, one she hasn't walked in years. The memories flood back, rushing like the tide, overwhelming her. Damien's laugh, the way he always seemed to have a plan, always calm even when the world was falling apart. The loss is suffocating, but she can't afford to break. She has to find him. But how? Her magic is gone, her confidence shattered. She stumbles, catching herself on a tree, eyes closing as she tries to regain her balance. The whispers in the trees seem to mock her desperation. The wind picks up again, and she feels the familiar warmth of magic stir within her. It's faint, but it's there. Can she still tap into it? A voice echoes in her mind, "There's always a way." But who said it? She doesn't know. All she knows is that she can't give up now. She won't. The fear of what lies ahead creeps up again. What if it's too late? The moon breaks through the clouds, casting an ethereal glow over the landscape. Evelyn feels a sense of calm, but it's fleeting. Her body aches with exhaustion, but she doesn't stop. She can't stop. The world feels quieter now, but the quiet is dangerous. Damien's absence weighs on her, pulling her down like a chain. She wonders if she'll ever find him. She's haunted by the way he disappeared. So suddenly, so utterly gone. So utterly gone. She catches herself, shaking the thought away. There's no time for doubt. The journey ahead will be perilous. She can feel it in her bones, in the air that's thick with the remnants of the storm. Her path ahead is unclear, but there's no turning back now. A soft glow begins to grow in the distance. What lies there? The silence is broken by a sound in the distance. Evelyn freezes, every muscle in her body tense. It's a voice, a familiar voice. Her heart leaps into her throat, but the moment of hope is fleeting. It's only the wind swirling through the trees. She sighs, disappointment sinking in. The world feels empty. She hasn't felt this lost in years. The wind howls again, but now it's different. There's a rhythm to it, a pattern. Is it trying to tell her something? She can't ignore it? She moves toward it, her heart pounding with anticipation. What if this is the key to finding Damien? Evelyn's breath catches as the sound of approaching footsteps echoes in the thick, wet air. The trees around her creak under the pressure of the storm's aftermath. She moves quickly, knowing that time is running out. Damien is still out there somewhere, and every second matters. But the forest is no longer familiar. The wind picks up, carrying with it the sense of something darker lurking in the shadows. She's not alone. Someone is following her. Evelyn's pulse quickens as she hears the sound again. A footstep too close, a crack of a branch too deliberate. Her eyes dart around, but there's nothing in sight. "Who's there?" she calls, trying to mask her panic. No answer. She's alone, or so it seems. Her mind races, fear clawing at her chest. She can't let herself fall into despair. The magic is still there, faint as it may be, and she has to harness it, if only to escape this unseen danger. She pushes forward, but her every step feels watched. A twig snaps underfoot. A shadow moves in the corner of her vision. She's being hunted. But by whom? Evelyn finally stumbles into a small clearing, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The air is thick with moisture, but there's a strange calmness here, as if the storm has been paused for just a moment. The silence feels suffocating. Damien's absence is like a gaping hole in her chest. She can feel him, his presence, but it's as if he's slipping through her fingers with each passing second. Is he still alive? She pushes the thought away. She has to focus. Her body is exhausted, but her mind is sharp. The hunt isn't over. She listens, straining to hear any sound. All is quiet except for the distant rustling of leaves. "We have to keep moving," she whispers to herself, trying to convince her body to push forward. But there's a flicker in the shadows, a glimpse of something moving just beyond the trees. Her pulse spikes. The danger isn't over. A cold voice breaks the silence, sending a shiver down Evelyn's spine. "You think you can run from me, witch?" The words are slow, deliberate, each one laced with a deadly calm. She freezes, the familiar weight of fear settling into her chest. It's him. The figure from the storm. The one who took Damien. His presence fills the clearing, like a shadow too thick to escape. "You're not going anywhere," he says, his voice low and dangerous. Evelyn's heart races. She can feel his power, even from a distance, a dark, suffocating magic that's like nothing she's ever encountered. Her hand instinctively reaches for her own power, but it's weak, barely a flicker. "You won't get away this time," he warns, his figure stepping out of the shadows, tall and menacing. The darkness around him seems to grow, swallowing the light in the clearing. The trees tremble. Evelyn's breath hitches. What does he want from her? The figure steps closer, and Evelyn takes a step back, her mind racing for a way out. Her legs are stiff from exhaustion, but she forces herself to stand her ground. "You're not the only one with power," she snaps, her voice shaky but defiant. The figure stops, studying her with an unsettling calm. "You've always been a disappointment," he murmurs, almost to himself. "But I can fix that. I can give you back everything you lost." Evelyn's heart skips a beat. Give her back what? Her magic? Her connection to Damien? The figure watches her closely, as if waiting for her to speak. But before she can respond, a new voice cuts through the air. "Leave her alone." A figure steps out from behind the trees, the mentor, the one who's been guiding her from the shadows. He's older, weathered, with eyes that seem to have seen far too much. "She's not yours to control." The figure scowls, but there's a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. "This isn't over," witch, he warns, before disappearing back into the darkness. Evelyn's legs shake as she exhales, her mind spinning. What just happened? Evelyn's thoughts are a whirlwind, a storm of confusion and fear. She looks at the mentor, trying to piece together what just happened. Why didn't he stay to fight? The mentor watches her with a knowing look, his expression unreadable. "Sometimes the best thing you can do is survive," he says quietly, his voice calm but heavy with experience. Evelyn feels a weight lift from her shoulders, but it's quickly replaced by another. The knowledge that this fight is far from over. The mentor's words hang in the air as Evelyn looks at the path ahead. She knows she has to keep moving, but where? What's next? The question lingers, and for the first time she doesn't know the answer. But she's not ready to give up. Not yet. Her hand tightens into a fist, the spark of magic flickering once again. She's determined. She has no choice now. She will keep fighting, no matter what it takes. The air is still, almost peaceful, after the chaos of the past days. Evelyn moves through the forest, her footsteps light, as if she has finally found a moment of calm. She feels an odd sense of safety, like the world has slowed just for her. But something isn't right. Damien is out there, somewhere, but she hasn't found him yet. The trees, once towering and intimidating, now seem like silent sentinels. She hears a faint rustle behind her, a noise too soft to be a threat. But it still sets her on edge. She pauses, glancing over her shoulder. There's no one there, but the feeling remains. She's not alone. She shakes it off, telling herself that she's just being paranoid. Yet, when she looks ahead, there's a flicker of movement at the edge of the trees. A stranger? She can't be sure. Her heart skips a beat as she decides to approach, her body tensing. The stranger moves into view, a figure in a dark cloak, standing still as if waiting. Something isn't right. Something isn't right. The figure steps closer, their features still hidden by the cloak. Evelyn doesn't move, though every instinct tells her to run. There's a hesitation in the air, a pause before either one speaks. "I'm not here to hurt you," the figure says, their voice low and calm. The words should be reassuring, but they send a chill down her spine. She forces herself to meet their eyes, though the shadows still make it difficult to make out their face. "Who are you?" she asks, her voice trembling slightly. The figure tilts their head as if amused. "I'm someone who can help." Their answer doesn't sit right with Evelyn, but she needs to know more. She feels a flicker of hope, though that hope is tinged with doubt. "Help with what?" she presses. They take a step forward, their expression unreadable. "You'll see. In time." Evelyn feels something shift in the air, an unease creeping in. There's something about this encounter that feels both too perfect and too dangerous at the same time. The figure remains silent, their posture almost predatory as Evelyn steps back, her mind racing. "You don't need to be afraid," they say. But the words do little to ease her nerve. Their voice is smooth, yet there's an underlying force, a pressure to their presence that feels foreign and unsettling. Evelyn doesn't know who they are or what they want, but she knows that this isn't just another chance encounter. Her instincts scream that this figure is somehow tied to her past, to her lost magic, and to the disappearance of Damien. The tension thickens like a weight in the air. "You've been searching for him," the figure continues, their eyes glimmering in the dim light. Evelyn flinches, caught off guard. How does he know? Her mouth dries as she tries to answer, but the words catch in her throat. "What do you know about Damien?" she demands. The figure tilts their head, a slight smile on their lips. "Enough to know that you'll never find him unless you understand the truth about yourself." Evelyn feels a chill crawl up her spine. Her thoughts spiral. Could it be true? Could she be so blind to what's really happening? In a sudden move, the figure reaches forward, grabbing Evelyn's arm. She gasps in shock, struggling to pull away, but their grip is unyielding. "You're not going anywhere," they say, their voice colder now. The mask of kindness drops, and Evelyn's heart skips a beat. This isn't someone who wants to help. This is someone who wants control. The figure's eyes gleam with something far darker. "You should have never come looking for him," they hiss. And before she can react, they twist her arm painfully, pushing her down into the cold earth. The forest spins around her as she tries to catch her breath, disoriented. "Damien is mine," the figure sneers, their words a sharp blade. "And you? You're nothing but a pawn." Evelyn's chest tightens. Her mind screams for a way out, but everything feels too late. She tries to summon her magic, but it's gone, buried deep under a crushing weight of fear and exhaustion. In that moment, she realizes the truth. The betrayal is complete. Evelyn lies on the ground, her breath coming in short, ragged gasps as the figure steps back. The weight of the betrayal presses heavily on her chest. The truth crashes in. She's been played. The man in front of her is no stranger. He's the one who manipulated Damien's disappearance, the one who's been behind the shadows all along. The realization sends a cold shiver through her spine. There's no escape now, no second chance. She's been walking into a trap from the very beginning. Her mind spins with the new truth. He's been controlling everything. Everything she thought she understood has been a lie. She doesn't have time to dwell on the despair, though. There's something in her, a burning desire for retribution, a need to make him pay for what he's done. It's not over yet. She drags herself to her feet, eyes narrowing with cold determination. She won't let this be the end, not yet. The forest is hushed after the struggle, and dew beads on torn leaves like tiny mirrors. Evelyn moves slowly, chest tight, listening to her own breath as if it might answer her. The earth smells wet and metallic. She kneels where the soil is scuffed and closes her eyes. "He planned this," Evelyn said, step by step. The words taste bitter. Wind threads through empty branches and lifts ash from an old fire ring. Memories arrange themselves like cards. A promise, a warning, a touch that lingered too long. A strand of black thread caught on bark. Evelyn follows it with her fingertips and feels the pattern lock. The lies were gentle because they needed to be believed. A crow calls once, harsh and clear. Sunlight cuts thin lines through cloud and paints silver on the moss. "You wanted me confused," Evelyn said, "so I'd chase the wrong trail." Far off, something clicks like a latch. She turns, heart steadying, because the silence is telling her where to look. Beneath the quiet sits a door she never saw before. The handle is warm. The scent of smoke lifts her backward. Memory bends the path until past and present overlap like glass panes. A hall of black stone flickers to life. Damien smiled then, easy and warm, holding a silver charm that hummed when near her. "It resonates with you," Damien said, "so you'll never be lost." She laughed and believed him. Footsteps echoed from another arch, and the air smelled of crushed sage. A whisper shaped her name and drifted away. The charm heated against her skin and burned a crescent she hid for days. Now she feels the mark flare under her collar as the forest light fades. "It wasn't a guide," Evelyn said. "It was a tether. Bells ring in memory, too precise to be ceremonial. Keys rattled. Doors moved without hands." She hears the same rhythm here, under the birdsong, under her pulse. The first lie was kindness. The second was protection. The third dressed itself as love. The truth stands bare and cold. She finds the ruined shrine and stops at the threshold. Her heartbeat counts the distance to the truth. Stone wolves watch with blind eyes. The air is thin, like a room after an argument. The mentor waits by a cracked basin, hands folded. He does not speak. "How long did you know?" Evelyn said, voice low. Silence answers first, heavier than blame. Water drips in the basin, slow and even. The mentor lifts his gaze, but not his chin. "Long enough to fear you would break," he said. The words land like gravel. Evelyn steps closer, feels the floor list under old vows. "You kept me safe by keeping me blind," Evelyn said. He exhales, and it sounds like winter. Between them the charm warms again, proof and accusation. Breath fogs, vanishes, returns. "Say his name," Evelyn said. The mentor closes his eyes. He says it. The shrine seems to tilt. The shrine seems to tilt. The world rearranges around a single clean wound. The shadows peel, and Malachi steps from them as if they were doors he owns. His smile is courteous, almost kind. "You seek villains because it's easier than seeing design," Malachi said. His voice is patient. Evelyn holds still and lets him speak. "Power wants channeling," Malachi said. "So I built channels." He gestures to the shrine, to the woods, to the mark beneath her collar. "I spared you waste." The words are polished and cruel. "You stole choice," Evelyn said. He tilts his head, amused. Our doubt flares because some part of the logic fits like a trap. The air hums and the stones answer him. "He followed me freely," Malachi said, "to keep you from burning." The thought hits like falling ice. If Damien chose the tether, then every memory becomes a hinge. "Truth is a blade," Malachi said. "Hold it wrong, and it cuts you." The room brightens, and nothing feels simple. The echo fades and leaves a clear line through Evelyn's chest. It hurts, but the hurt is clean. She steps away from the shrine and from their voices. Wind crosses the clearing and lifts her hair like a benediction. "So this was the truth all along," Evelyn said, almost gently. She does not ask for permission. She does not wait for rescue. The tether warms and she feels its path like a map burned into air. If Damien chose to shield her, then she can choose to free him. Fear stirs, then kneels. The world is the same and also new. She breathes in damp bark, iron, rain. She sets her hand over the mark, and the silver goes quiet under her will. "You don't own me," Evelyn said. The ground steadies. The wolves seem to watch and approve. She turns toward the path that climbs. The loss remains, but it is no longer the driver. The truth is simple and sharp. She moves. Footsteps drum in the corridor, then stop, and the hush tightens like a noose. Torchlight sputters, throwing blades of orange across wet stone. Evelyn steadies her breath and feels the tether heat beneath her collar. The air tastes of iron and storm. "Come out," Malachi said, voice smooth and cold. She answers with silence, counting heartbeats, measuring distance. Sparks crawl along the charm, mapping a path she cannot refuse. From the far arch, chains whisper, and Damien coughs once, then goes quiet. The room leans toward impact, like a wave cocked to break. "You built a cage," Evelyn said, "and called it mercy." He laughs, soft as dust. The light flickers, long shadows reaching for her boots. Every step forward is a choice she will not get back. She draws the line in her mind and moves to meet him. The floor hums. The moment holds its breath. Malachi spreads his hands as if offering a lesson, not a fight. "Power serves order," Malachi said. "Chaos burns lovers and kingdoms." Evelyn circles, boots scraping damp grit. "Order that steals choice is rot," Evelyn said. He steps in and the torches flare, smoke rising in tight spirals. I cut noise so you could live, Malachi said. You cut love to fit a cage, Evelyn said. The rhythm quickens. Breath, light steel glints. A chain snaps behind them, and Damien stirs, a shadow shifting. Malachi strikes. Stone cracks where she stood. Evelyn answers with a clean palm thrust. Charm flashing, air buckling. Sparks skitter like bees against glass. Yield, Malachi said. No, Evelyn said, not again. They close, heat and cold colliding, neither willing to fall. The fight finds its cadence and drags them with it. Alden limps through the side arch, robe torn, eyes steady. The fight stutters as his presence changes the room's sound. On me, Alden said, and his voice is small but anchored. Malachi turns, reading the new math. Evelyn feels the tether yanked toward the bars. Chains bite, Damien groans, daunt, the world narrows to pulse and breath. Alden lifts a palm, and the air folds like paper. Your debt is to living hearts, Alden said, a bare whisper. Malachi strikes spears toward Evelyn, bright and deadly. Alden steps through it, taking the line meant for her. Light goes silent. The blast blooms without a sound. Then sound returns like a slap. Evelyn catches him as he falls, heat fading through cloth. Worth it, Alden said, and a tired smile finds him. The floor steadies, and the cost arrives. Silence claws the hall, then breaks into rain hissing through the roof. Evelyn stands, palms open, tears cutting clean tracks in soot. You take and call it saving, Evelyn said. Malachi advances, sure as tide. I prune ruin, Malachi said, and leave a world that lasts. She draws the tether into her hand, twists, and feels its root to Damien. Fire licks the floor. Rain threads from the broken vault, steam rising. He chose the chain to shield me, Evelyn said. So I choose the cut. She slams the charm to stone. The tether screams like metal. Malachi lunges, shadow tearing. Light roars up her arm. Meets the dark in a white seam. Stone wolves seem to howl as the hall divides. Warm flame, cold rain. Let him be free, Evelyn said, and pulls. The chain breaks. The dark folds, losing shape. Malachi stares as the world stops choosing him. The roar fades, leaving a hum like distant bees. Dust snowfalls in the torchlight. Evelyn sags to one knee and presses a palm to the floor to feel it stop shaking. Chains lie quiet, curled like shed skins. Damien leans against the bars that are no longer bars and breathes as if learning how. You found me, Damien said, the words barely formed. She nods, unable to speak. Alden's robe pools where he fell, and the silence around it is gentle. Rain taps a softer rhythm, cool on hot stone. The charm sits cracked in her hand, no longer a map, only metal. We pay for what we keep, Evelyn said, voice even. She looks up, steadier now, and the hall looks wider, less cruel. Outside, dawn gathers like a promise no one can own. One thin beam touches the floor, and she stands in it. The hall rests after violence, as if stone itself is catching breath. Dust drifts like quiet snow through broken roof ribs. Torch stubs hiss and die, giving way to dawn's thin light. Evelyn stands still and lets silence settle on her skin. The air smells of wet ash and iron. Her fingers unclench around the cracked charm. Edges cool now, voice lost inside it. Damien leans close, breathing steady but shallow. He says nothing, and that mercy helps. Footsteps from the world beyond return in soft echoes, timid birds testing song. The floor no longer trembles, yet her heart learns a slower pace by force. She counts the beats and finds one space missing. Robes lie folded by chance where a body fell true. Wind slips through and turns a page no one can read. Evelyn lowers her head and names the cost without sound. The calm does not comfort. It only clarifies what is gone. Outside, morning gathers like a slow promise. Evelyn walks the broken stair and feels the air thin and sweet. Her mind reruns the night in brief flashes, not to suffer but to file truth. Alden's hand lifted, then quiet. Malachi's sure step, then doubt. Damien's eyes, a door she almost could not open. The images arrive without heat, as if washed by rain. Guilt knocks but finds a steadier host. She exhales and it leaves like smoke leaving a room. You chose the cut, she tells herself, and the words do not shake. The birds resume a bolder chorus along the eaves. Far hills wear silver, where light touches wet grass. Evelyn presses the cracked charm to her palm until it stops trembling. She tastes metal and pine and something clean. Life does not ask permission to continue. It moves. She nods once as if answering a question only she can hear. Damien joins her at the landing, steps careful, breath still tender from chain and fear. Time slows between them and holds like glass. He touches the bruise at his wrist and lets his hand fall. "Thank you," Damien said, almost a whisper, as if the sky might break. She answers with a look that carries both anger and relief, parceled to fit the hour. Wind threads past, lifting a curl across his brow, and the world narrows to the sound of two steady breaths. "I chose it," Damien said, and the truth lands without defense. She hears the apology inside the shape of those words. Evelyn does not turn away. "I choose you," she said, and does not dress it in promise. The pause that follows is a clean bandage over a raw place. Somewhere below, water finds stone and sings. Their silence agrees to forgive what cannot be undone. They return to the shrine to lift what memory can bear. The basin holds only sky and a thin ring of leaves. Evelyn slides a fingertip along the stone wolves and finds their edges kinder than before. The room keeps a temperature of old lessons. A whisper rises, not voice but pattern. Alden's counsel lives here, a thread through ash and time. "Your debt is to living hearts," he said once, and the words return without command. She sees him teaching with silence, measuring courage by what is spared, not spent. The past does not tighten its grip now. It opens its palm and shows the tool. She fits the thought to the day like a key finally named. "Thank you," she said, to a place that taught her to leave and to stay. A smile arrives, small and honest, then waits. At the forest edge, paths divide like calm rivers. Evelyn plants the cracked charm beneath a young spruce where roots will keep it still. The act is small and complete. "No more tethers," she said, and the words rest well. Wind carries resin and rain, and the far thud of a waking mill. Damien waits a pace behind, not leading, not pulling, simply present. She feels the bruise of loss and the light of knowing in one body. The world has not forgiven or condemned. It has made room. She chooses the north track, where the canopy opens to sky. The birds do not hush this time. Steps fall into a rhythm that remembers and releases. "We go," Evelyn said, and her voice is soft and whole. The road accepts them without flourish. Ahead, the day throws a thin, bright line across the ground, and they step into it together. Morning holds the world very still. Dew clings to broken stone like patient stars. Evelyn stands where the hall opened, and breath returns in slow, careful threads. Damien waits nearby, not touching, not far. Birds test a thin song and let it grow. Ash lifts and falls without urgency. "We are here," Damien said, and the words land soft. She counts what remains and feels the shape of absence answer back. Alden is quiet now, and his lessons feel louder than any bell. The charm sleeps under earth, and the sky is wide again. Wind moves through old wounds and does not sting. She remembers the storm, the dark, the choice that cut the chain. Peace does not erase pain. It gives it a room with a window. Was it worth it? Evelyn said, not seeking reply. Silence sets a hand on her shoulder and nods once. The day waits for her step. They walk the boundary path where spruce meets meadow. Each step writes a lighter sentence than the last. Evelyn watches her boots press wet grass and rise clean. The air tastes of resin and fresh water. Damien speaks only once. No more cages, Damien said, and the lion settles like law. She nods and lets the past dissolve into distance without spite. Wind lays the tall stems flat, then lifts them again. A hawk draws a ring no hand can own. She lays a palm on a young trunk and feels the quiet pulse inside. Farewells do not burn here. They fade like fog that learned its lesson. They pass the place where the road splits, and do not look back. Footprints soften as light strengthens. The world does not close the wound, it knits around it. Their shadows lengthen, then blend with shade, then thin to almost nothing. At the shrine basin, water holds the sky without ripple. A voice arrives like a page turning. It is memory, but it breathes. Your debt is to living hearts, Alden said, and the echo fits the new morning. Evelyn lowers her head and lets the words choose their place. Damien closes his eyes and listens as if to an old song. The stone wolves keep their watch and do not seem fierce. She sees the lesson beneath the lesson. Mercy that cuts chains is not soft, only true. Thank you, Evelyn said, and the water keeps her answer. Time slows and stands beside them with kind hands. The past offers a chair, not a cage. A single leaf falls and lands upright on the surface, small and brave. Carry light, Alden said, the last thread of the voice. The basin clears, the day continues. Days pass like clear rivers. Villagers return along cart-worn lanes, setting doors on hinges and bread on tables. Roofs gain new shingles that flash when clouds drift. Evelyn trades silence for work and work for quiet laughter. Damien fixes a gate that never stayed shut, and it stays. Children chase the sun across the common and lose. No one speaks of chains. They speak of weather and seed. The world learns a slower clock and keeps it. For him, someone says, and the name needs no voice. Evenings settle early, gentle and blue. The hill where the ruin breathes becomes a place to look, not to fear. The narrator in her chest agrees with the light. Change does not shout, it hums. She hears it and accepts the tune. At dusk, the ridge burns with quiet color. Evelyn stands where the paths first chose her. Wind combs the heather and leaves it shining. She closes her eyes and hears the storm as a far drum with no claim. We go on, Evelyn said, almost a prayer, almost a promise. Damien's hand finds hers, and the grip is simple. Night gathers without threat, like a shawl well worn. She lifts her face to the first star and does not ask it anything. The journey has weight, and the weight has meaning. She lets the meaning rest, not solved, only lived. Truth must never be owned, Evelyn said. The words fade into the blue and stay. The world keeps breathing. The frame holds still.